Remember that last week we talked about this. There's like the philosophy, there's the idea, there's the phenomenon, there's the principles. Basically, if you put a bunch of people in a room, they're going to start talking to each other. If there's men and women in that room, they're going to start having sex with each other. We are meant to do that. If we take that out of the equation, that we are born to be sexual, we are born to be social, if we somehow forget that, then we make things a lot harder. So again, I hate to say it, with all the awesome, crazy PUA techniques out there, the number one thing is if you're alone with a girl, and presumably if you're a guy, and the more time you spend with that, the more you can start taking advantage of the natural urges to have sex. Okay, so it's already within you. Now, don't get me wrong, there's friend zone stuff. Don't get me wrong, there's all sorts of complications. There's things where like shit doesn't work out. You fucking get shamed and humiliated and then end up crying. But we have to have faith. We were born to be social. We were born to be sexual. That's very, very, very important. So what we're learning here are some mechanical. If we do not have those mechanical technique tools, then we can still have sex. We can still have a social circle, a group of friends. We can still have a lot of great stuff. These help as an accent towards things, and very useful accent. All right, so here we have mechanics of attraction. In the previous part of the lesson, we learned about the anatomy of the attraction. This is a vital lesson. Go back, learn it, review it. You can listen to the audio. It's hosted on the Amazon and the Dropbox. Many times we jump to the mechanics immediately for the results. So it makes sense. We're like, hey, show me the shit which works. Show me the fucking technique. Cool. I'm down with the technique. I get that. But man, we're TSL. We're a full service program. We work with you. I expect you guys to kind of like get into the way of life process so you can have a good sex life, all that sort of stuff. Anyway, this is a mistake when we jump just to the tools, because the functioning tools of attraction are pointless without knowing how it works or knowing who you are. All right. Theory first gives function meaning. However, the result of function gives theory meaning, philosophy, and a way of life. If that sounds really confusing, basically it's this. Like a lot of theory on, seduction or weightlifting or whatever the hell it is. Well, the function of it will give it meaning, But when we have the merging of making something work and knowing it as well, we can actually turn our life into that. So for instance, if I know how seduction works, if I know the principles of attraction, seduction, interacting with people, connecting, being myself, all that sort of stuff, and I can put it into action, and I can actually execute it with the best technique, then I'm going to have a lifestyle. I'm going to have a way of life where I automatically just move in these directions. So that's really, really what we're going for. Now, the goal of this process is to kind of move in, there's a couple of these things, to move in a certain direction. Now, number one, we need to learn to engage, okay? And we need to know what that means. For instance, I was just with a client. We were at a restaurant. He was talking to a waitress. He's a pretty experienced guy. He's been working with me a long time. He just came out of a relationship. Wants a little bit of a bump to maximize his Austin lifestyle-ness. And we were talking to a waitress. And he talked to her, and he did well. And I was like, yeah, but she's not yet engaged with you. She is not yet listening to you. So it doesn't matter what technique you do. She's not really paying attention. She's giving you like her superficial self. So you got to get towards that. How do we engage? And so then I gave him a few pointers that might help. It's like, be excited by what she talks about. Hopefully it's something that she talks about deep. So ask deep questions. And then show more eye contact, turn towards her, and show that you are truly interested. And that will be the key thing, because you need to be talking to that side. So Number one, what's one of the goals in the process of all attraction and the material that you're going to be learning here is that you've got to engage. You've got to be like talking to them. Okay, if you're entertaining them, if they think you're cool, if they think you're a toy, if you're whatever, man, that's not the same. You've got to be talking to them. You've got to be talking to the part of them that makes decisions, that cares, that has feelings, all that sort of stuff. The idea of attention and qualification. We then have to be social enough to maintain their attention and ultimately see if we are qualified to talk to each other. We're going to get more into qualification next week, but this idea that we engage with somebody and we do all this attraction material is totally misleading uh, concept, because we're not really attracting them. We're getting attention. We're not making their pussy wet. Like, for instance, this chick said that she's really attracted to guys that are educated, right? And then my friend, he kind of chimed in and was like, really? I mean, have you ever been attracted to a guy and thought like you were turned on by where he went to? It's like total like a societal, and this is a very educated guy. This guy's like super educated. Jesus Christ, I am not. But anyway, and she was like, yeah, I never thought about it that way. It's more like I'm turned off when a guy does stupid shit. I was like, ah. And then she said she was attracted to people funny, or that laughed a lot. And I was like, man, this is actually an interesting story. And this is true. I hate it when people say like that laughter or humor is attractive. It's just an attention thing. It does not make a chick's pussy wet. It does not make your dick hard. It makes you more comfortable with somebody. It's not actually attraction, right? So humor gets you more attention, gets you enough attention for people to feel comfortable with you so that you can see if you guys are qualified to talk to each other. All right. In fact, true story. Let me just tell you about sex and humor. Try this. Next time you're having sex with somebody and you're really turned on, watch a comedy. And when you start laughing and get really, when you find stuff is like really funny, you will not be able to continue to have sex. It will not. It's two different feelings. And so this is where it's like a lot of people in pickup don't make sex the main thing they go for. Somebody needs to mute themselves. This is something which I bring up on every call, and believe me, it's turned into more of a pet peeve at this point. It's like I write on the email, mute your phone. I bring it up every time and get pissed off about it. Mute your phone. Even when it's question and answer time, when one person's talking, do it. It's anyway. The funny thing about this is then I'll get an email going like, dude, every time you say that and people still don't get it. Anyway, okay, so the definition, attraction. Let's start by defining what we mean by attraction. Attraction is simply to gain interest. In the realm of social dynamics, in the industry of social dynamics, that's what it means. But when I first started in social dynamics, when I first bought my first product, and when we talk to any other human being out there that's not in the PUA industry, what does attraction mean? It probably means that one's irresistible, one's sexually turned on, people being drawn to us. And in the seduction world, it really means getting attention, compliance, a series of steps, getting reactions. Okay, and so we know how like it can mean a series of steps, like if you're studying some complex system, which in reality everything's based off of mystery method, whether you're a PUA training fan to, I don't know, anybody teaching a structured system. Attraction means a series of steps. But to an outsider, when they look at what pickup is doing, it's really just managing reactions. So it's kind of like a weird deal. So there's a bit of a problem in the language, when it comes to